The reading for this coming Sunday is the stilling of the storm, the account of Jesus on the Lake of Galilee with his compatriots, with the disciples, being caught by a sudden squall on the lake and their terror in the face of it. It has to be said that with the backdrop of the Park Lake here, nothing could be further from the events about which I am about to read. Mark's Gospel, chapter 4, beginning at the 35th verse. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd behind, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. Other boats were with him. A great gale arose, and the waves beat into the boat, so that the boat was already being swamped. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him up and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Then the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. He said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great awe, and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Well, as I have implied already, there is little likelihood just at the moment that we are going to be caught in a great wind. Just around the headland from our house in Southern Ireland, you can see the Fastnet Rock, infamous as the site of a major tragedy in 1979. The Fastnet race is an ocean-going yacht race which takes place every 2 years, in which competitors leave Cowes, sail out to Fastnet, and this year will be returning to Cherbourg. In 1979, a severe storm led to 19 people losing their lives, and the involvement of some 4,000 others in what became the largest ever rescue operation in peacetime. To mark the 40th anniversary of the tragedy in 2019, a former art beak from Harrow, Dan Llewellyn Hall, painted a series of pictures of the Fastnet Rock and a portrait of the lighthouse keeper who was on duty that fateful night. Sailors know the perils of the sea. In spite of all our scientific expertise and sophistication, the sea remains a force to which we need to give the utmost respect. For the people of first century Palestine, the sea was similarly terrifying. In ancient myth, the original act of creation involved God in a desperate but finally victorious contest with the forces of chaos and evil, which were seen to be located in the waters of the sea. The Old Testament and in particular the Psalms witness to the uncontrollability of the seas, and perhaps most famously, Psalm 107. Some went down to the sea in ships, doing business on the mighty waters. They saw the deeds of the Lord, his wondrous works in the deep. He commanded and raised the stormy wind, which lifted up the waves of the sea. They mounted up to heaven, and they went down to the depths. Their courage melted away in their calamity. They reeled and staggered like drunkards, and were at their wits' end. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he brought them out from their distress. He made the storm still, and the waves of the sea were hushed. These ideas, and indeed these scriptures, would have been familiar to Jesus' followers. Furthermore, they were themselves traditionally men of the lake, fishermen. The Lake of Galilee remains notorious for sudden squalls and storms. Whatever the circumstances of the incident behind this account, it is one that was told widely in the early days of the church. Those on that lake that day would have known the danger they were in. At the most basic level, Mark records this story to reveal Jesus' authoritative identity. As God brought order out of chaos in creation, so Jesus stills the storm on the lake and delivers his companions to safety. This is nothing less than the action of God. And they were filled with great awe, and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Mark is writing for a church in crisis, persecuted and outlawed, probably in Rome. His entire gospel reveals Jesus to be in conflict with almost everybody and everything he encounters. His own family, his disciples, religious and secular authority, the spiritual realm, and the forces of nature itself. In almost every situation, his action and the ultimate response might be summed up with words from today's account. Peace, be still. Then the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. People of faith often witness the deep and inner calm God can bring to almost every eventuality. This is not a deluded optimism. The storm still has to be faced. The catastrophe is not avoided. And the challenge, whatever it happens to be, is there to be confronted. COVID, and all that has gone alongside it, is a present, shared storm. What resources can we draw upon to face further uncertainties in life with hope and confidence? Not just now, but looking into the future. Indeed, a number of you at the moment will be looking to the future as you leave school at the end of this term. Jesus warns those travelling with him against fear and a lack of faith. That in all things there is a deeper purpose. Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith? That is often not straightforward, and there will be plenty in our own lives that remains confusing and contradictory. But to have faith in God, who has sustained generations of those before us, can offer a wider and deeper perspective. Perhaps, as always, those two great commandments that Jesus teaches, a distillation of the 10 commandments, offers the way to see the world, whatever its challenges. Love God and love your neighbour. The exercise of love is itself a version of Jesus' own command. Peace. Be still. Whatever storms you may be facing, and whatever storms lie ahead, may you hear those words deep within yourselves when the occasion arrives. Peace. Be still.